We have just a quick approval of the minutes, rules, and then discussion, possible action on the bill we heard on Tuesday. We'll jump right into it. So the first item is to request for committee-sponsored bill drafts for introduction. Are there any requests from members of the committee? Any from the audience? And seeing none, we'll move on. So the approval of the minutes, the committee minutes for January 14th and January 21st, those were emailed out. Everybody have a chance to review those. Were there any changes to the minutes? Questions? And seeing none, ask for a motion to approve the minutes. And a motion by Representative Riley. Do we have a second? Second by Representative Pickard. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Minutes are approved. Next up is the committee rules. I think those were handed out at the meeting this past Tuesday. Any questions, comments on the committee rules? These should be pretty consistent throughout all the committees. Seeing none, committee rules are adopted. So those will be our committee rules. Very good. Then next item of business is to discuss and possibly act on House Bill 2027. You know, I first came into the legislature, there were several methods of working a bill in committee. And 2 years ago, there's kind of the goal of leadership was to attempt to standardize that across the committees. And so Representative Patton at the time, he drafted kind of a little script on kind of best practices on how to work a bill. So I'll just be following that as I did the prior 2 years. And the process is kind of a two-step process. We bring it up for discussion and working. And that's where certainly there can be discussion, but also amendments to the bill can be proposed and voted on. And then after that, if it looks like the next step should be to have a motion on the bill, I'll ask if there's a motion on the bill. There's some times when certain amendments get proposed and there's further questions where we're not quite ready to have a motion on the bill and work it out of committee. We've seen that over the years. Sometimes the other method of working a bill is to immediately ask for a motion and then start amending the bill. But because there's a motion already started, you can't really backtrack. So we'll follow the process of more discussing, amending, and then once that's finished, we may or may not move on to asking for action on the bill. So with that, committee will now work House Bill 2027, and I'll ask for the revisers to provide a brief overview of the bill, and we'll go from there. So,
thank you, Mr. Chair. Jenna Moyer, Revisor's Office. House Bill 2027 proposes a reorganization of the Public Assistance Statute section, which is KSA 39709. The bill would have the statute be organized by each public assistance program, which would be subsections now A through D, and then E would be, subsection E would be fraud investigations, F, drug screening and convictions, G would now be assignment of support rights, and H would be the electronic benefits card. And these are non-substantive changes. They would all be technical and clerical in nature. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
thank you very much for the overview. Committee, any questions for the reviser? Any discussion or amendments on the bill? Representative Riley.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The reviser has to hand out to people some technical changes. I'm offering an amendment.
We have an amendment by Representative Riley. Would you like to quick describe, or do we have a second? Do you want to quick describe it real quick?
I can describe it. So basically, I asked the revisers to go through and put in paragraphs and change things so it looked better. Again, this is all technical. I asked the reviser to go through in places where it said completely spelled out TANF, cash assistance, to just change those to TANF. So it's just a consistency all the way through the bill. So we didn't change anything. We just made it exactly the same all the way through. So if you look at it, you see the in paragraphs, that's just so it'll set off, ABC or 1, 2, 3, to make them clearer for everybody to read.
Thank you, Representative Riley. So we have a motion on an amendment. Do we have a second to the motion? Representative Riley. We have a second by Representative Bergkamp. Representative Riley, would you like to further explain or stand for questions?
Well, I'll take a minute here for people to look through this. I mean, it is like 7 or 8 pages, but I think if you really drill into the detail, there's no changes. It just made a consistent all the way through the wording for everything. If the reviser would like to add any more to that.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I can just briefly walk you through the changes on each page. On the first page, you'll notice on page 2, line 34, we insert the little thing that looks like a backwards P. That just means paragraph mark. I'm changing the term cohabitating boyfriend or girlfriend to be partner, which mirrors the language on page 1, line 23, cohabitating partner. On page 3, the term cash assistance is changed to TANF, temporary assistance for needy families, which is the defined term in KSA 39702. On page 4, in line 24, it'll now read 55 hours per week, which is how it reads in the rest of that subsection. And then this would be on top of page 6. The initial language says disability is defined as, and it's being changed to as used in this subparagraph, disability means, and this is consistent with the way that we define terms in statute. And then we add the little quotation marks around the word disability. On page 8, it'll be striking the word cash assistance in lines 19, 23, and 32 through 33, so it'll just then read TANF. On pages 11 and 13 are paragraph marks. Pages 14 and 15 will be 2 paragraph marks, and then striking the word cash assistance, so then it will just read TANF. And then the changes on pages 19, 21, 23, and 24 will just be that paragraph mark.
Mr. Chair, I'm open for questions.
Any questions for the carry of the amendment? Representative Humphries.
Thank you. These all look really like it cleans it up. My only question is that the normal way we do the paragraphs? This is consistent with the other bills?
So that's a great question. When I looked in statutes, it's not consistent the way that we do it. So some statutes have, I'm just thinking the Code of Civil Procedure, it does have headings. There's also some in the, Chapter 38. So minor statutes, they will have headings in the italics like they are here. Sometimes there's a line after them, sometimes there's not. It sort of depends on how long, that's what I've noticed, how long the title is and how much other stuff there is to put in there. So I would say it's a drafter's preference.
And there's no, just out of curiosity, like the revisor's office doesn't have, I mean, like I know, for instance, they ask us not to use or drafters to use the Oxford comma. So, like, is there a preferred way or if it's just the drafter's preference, fine, I just was curious.
Not aware of a preferred way. The only consideration that just popped into my head just now would just be an issue of spacing. If we don't have the paragraph break, it takes up less space in the statute books, but that should not be the primary concern.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Welcome, committee. Any further questions? Representative Alzee, just so you know, we are kind of beginning working the bill, House Bill 2027. We're on an amendment offered by Representative Riley, and we're discussing the amendment. And the amendment is technical in nature, just more clarification on terms, making them consistent with the rest of the statute. Committee, any further questions? just for Jenna, just once again for clarification, the amendment does not change any policy, correct? It's just simply,
Correct.
so there's no policy change to the amendment. Any further discussion on the amendment? Representative Riley? No. Representative Pickert?
It is so much more user-friendly. I mean, a person could really find something here in a hurry. Very good.
Any further discussions, questions? Seeing none, Representative Riley, you may close.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move my motion.
Motion is second to amend by Representative Riley. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Representative Owsley abstains, so the ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it. Motion passes. Bill is amended. Any additional discussion on the bill? Any other amendments on the bill? Okay, seeing none, committee, is there a motion concerning House Bill 2027? Representative Riley.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like to move to the floor House Bill 2027 as amended. Favorably for passage. Thanks.
Next, we have a motion by Representative Riley. Do we have a second? Second by Representative Humphreys. Any further discussion on the bill, committee? Any further comments or questions? Representative Owsley.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I didn't vote for any of these policies when they were put into statute, and I don't feel like I'm going to vote for this now. I appreciate the intent, and I appreciate the work you've done, but I won't be supporting HB 2027 as amended. Thank you.
No, just comment. Any further comments, discussion, committee? Seeing none, Representative Riley, you may close.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I close.
Committee, we have a motion to pass out House Bill 2027 as amended favorably by Representative Riley. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. No. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it. Motion passes. Representative Simmons.
Can I be clear that I vote no?
Sure.
I may have that recorded, please.
So the bill passes out of committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
And we have Representative Owsley and also Representative Simmons requesting their no vote be recorded.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like my vote recorded as well. My vote was no. Yes, sir.
Sure.
Representative Brownlee Page.
Yeah, I'll vote no as well.
Okay, so we have 4 recorded no votes. Representative Owsley, Simmons, Carr, and Brownlee Page. Well, committee, that concludes our work of the day. Thanks for showing up on time after a long day on the floor, but we'll have some interesting committee meetings over the next few weeks, a couple informational hearings, and hopefully be another bill hearing next week. So with that, any announcements, comments from the committee?